Well, a very good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DDMM YouTube channel for live coverage of round 3 of this year's BUKC iRacing Trophy. Laguna Seca, a classic circuit in the United States, is our host venue tonight for qualifying and 3 25-minute races, the midpoint of the season. My name is Andrew Mather. Alongside me in the DDMM virtual comms box, as ever, he's whistled in from work, is Mr. Howard Mitchell. Howard, how are we doing this evening?
I'm doing great, mate. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. And as you alluded to just there, mate, a bit of a classic of a circuit here. I feel as well in sim racing as well. This is always one that's. I think this was the first circuit I loaded into in iRacing. It's quite likely because it's just that sort of classic, famous track, a lot of fun. And we're about to throw our Formula Fords, our lovely Formula Fords that we have become very good friends with now off the back of the fantastic action that they've provided for us already so far in this inaugural season of our BUKC trophy. And yeah, this is going to be great. Can't wait to see a field of these lovely cars peeling through the corkscrew for the first time on that one.
Absolutely. What could possibly go wrong? Let's have a look at the championship standings. 6 races completed. If you're new to this series, the first, well, all the rounds have 3 races each. So we've done 2 of them. 2 by 3 equals 6, and here's how the points stand. Josh Ladd leads on 288, but is not present here tonight. Has withdrawn from this event, so is using some of his 4 dropped scores across the course of the season here tonight. Sam Sanders, big opportunity then for him to strike back to the top of the order. He's on 269. Ross Steele is 3rd. It's David Whitehouse has been really solid on the point scoring so far. You'll see the Premier, Intermediate Premier. That's the class they're sat in. But all the individual points are scored in the same manner. It doesn't matter whether you're Premier, Intermediate, or Clubman. If you do really well, you'll be gaining lots of points. So he's 4th at the moment overall. Matthew Graham 5th. James de Havilland also been going strongly in the Intermediates, is 6th. Lawrence Vines currently your Clubman subclass leader there on 224. Henry Mackenzie Friedman, Murray Adams and Sam Dimolo completing the top 10. Top of the rookies at the moment is Matthew Shawnee. And good evening to John Adey, who's just joined us in the chat on holiday and sadly missing out. But as I say, it's not going to be a big loss in terms of points tonight, because every single driver has 4 drops across the whole 15 race schedule. So if you are missing and sitting around out, you're using 3 of those 4 in effect. So that's how the points stand. We're getting on with things here tonight because timed qualifying, lone qualifying, has already started. I think we've got 21 drivers heading out there this evening, and they've all got 10 minutes and then 10 minutes and 3 timed laps within that 10 minutes to set lap times ahead of the first race of the night. The results from this timed qualifying session will set the grid for race number 1. The results from race 1 will set the grid for race number 2. And the results from race number 2 will set the grid for race number 3. Here on his screens is David Whitehouse. Been really impressed with David's performances so far this season, Howard. Stepped it up a gear. Liking this car. Sitting at the moment 4th place in the overall stakes, but with a good lead in the intermediate class, denoted there by the green details on his car. The 207 out there early to try and get a quick lap in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think we've always seen this from David, have we? He's sometimes played a slightly different strategy in qualifying and maybe taken a moment. He's gone straight out this evening as we join him coming on to a hot lap of this WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, which I still have to sometimes pause and get the right sponsor there for anyone who's familiar with previous sponsors, and heading towards one of the most famous corners on this circuit, the tricky Andretti hairpin. It's deceiving, isn't it?
It is. It's very easy to go wide there, as David Whitehouse has just gone there. I think that will be an off track straight away.
You don't have to demo all the pitfalls that we mention as you do the lap, David, although we appreciate the effort there. And then through this technical section here.
But that's a reminder as well for drivers to set a lap time. They've got to get a clean lap in. No off tracks, no spins, no losses of control. but at least 2 more opportunities to go round. And to note as well, we saw this last time at Okayama, didn't we, from Henry Mackenzie Friedman, warming the tyres, almost giving up the first flying lap as a means of getting a bit more heat in the tyres. I think that's as well, we saw it on the stream. Everybody who watched the stream either live or watched it back saw it as well. I think a couple of the drivers have cottoned on to that trick.
Yes, indeed. And well, they might, because it seems to have paid off for quite a few of our drivers. As we'll stick with David to the end of the lap, why not? We've stayed with him for most of this, though, as you say, it is very much going to be a bit of a banker lap.
Lap time is coming in, so Sam Sanders goes to the top of the timesheets with 1:32.5. Big night this for Sam Sanders. I think in terms of the championship, so for those new to the series, this is almost like a prelude. It's an aperitif ahead of the main course later in the year of the Club 100 iRacing Championship. Quite straightforwardly, if you win this championship, you get free entry into the main championship later in the year. Likewise for the best newcomer, so could be anyone, could be a premier, could be a rookie, could be someone in between. The highest scoring driver who's not competed in more than 2 events in the Club 100 Sim Racing Championships before, they will get entry into the main championship later in the year. Why is that a good thing? Well, the main championship is the one where you potentially could win some track time out of it and go straight into some real-life racing free of charge, virtue of your sim racing exploits. Here is Ross Deal. This is surely going to be the second lap for Ross Deal. I think he's gone for a warm-up lap first as Matthew Graham goes to the top of the timesheets at 1:32.276. What is Ross Deal going to do over the line? Is it an eligible time? It is, and it's the fastest one yet. 1:32.137. Deal to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we know what the situation is regarding Henry Mackenzie Friedman?
Henry Mackenzie Friedman is not. Indeed, is not out on track at the moment. Not quite sure what's going on there, but hopefully Henry can get out on circuit. Has been in great form in real life as well. Has had some race wins and strong performances in the BUKC. Here on your screens is James Juba. Good to have James back. Missed round 2, so has used 3 of his 4 drops for race results already, but was very good at Alton Park earlier in the season, and that shows why. 1:32.527 goes to P5 overall.
Yeah, brilliant stuff there from James. Really nice lap time to put himself highest placed of the intermediate class there. So we pick up a fellow classmate of his in the another James indeed, in the form of James Fremont.
Is this where we create a subclass of the intermediates of everybody called James with a green roll hood? Intermediate. Yeah. There's at least 3 of them out there tonight. Matthew Graham goes to the top of the timesheets with his 3rd flying lap, 1:31.928. Is that going to be good enough for pole position? Here comes Fremont over the line. It's not going to be good enough for pole position, because this man here, Ross Deal, 1:37.31.7. The Welshman goes back to P1. James de Havilland has shot up to 4th place on the grid, fastest of the intermediates. He's gone faster than all the clubmans as well. Where did Fremont go with that lap? Went 14th. Here is Henry Mackenzie Friedman. So Henry has got out on circuit. Pole sitter last time out in Okayama. What can he do here? I think this is still his out lap.
Yeah, it's crucially, Andrew, is he going to have the time to do? He has to push a bit harder than I'm not sure he's got the time to get
2 flyers in.
To get 2 flyers in, so it's all on this lap, so he won't get that tyre warm-up phase. Bearing in mind, this is a hard stop at the 10-minute mark. This isn't like this isn't like an F1 qualifying session where so long as you've crossed the line by the 10-minute mark, you get to complete the lap. So he's got to push here. This is a challenge here for one of our race winners this season so far.
Is indeed. Seb Algieri, Olavo Castro and Sam Dimolo, I think, are in the same situation as well, or they just haven't been able to get a clean lap in. It's a punishing circuit here with the sand and the gravel. Not much margin for error out there. What can Henry Mackenzie Friedman do here? It's going through the first couple of corners, up towards, going uphill now through turn number 4. a couple of drivers quite happy with their performances. You can see them already in the chat. That's the unique thing here of iRacing Sim Racing on the DDM YouTube channel. You get drivers' thoughts straight from the garages. David Whitehouse happy with his qualifying. Logan McAllister has gone quickly as well. It's gone P5, another driver who missed round 2. So it's only got one more dropped score available to him in terms of scoring races. This is looking like a tidy lap so far, Howard, for Mackenzie Friedman.
Yeah, it is, and it's just as well because we are right in our prediction. We've already gone past the 8.5 minute mark, so it's all on this lap time. But I agree, mate, it's been a good lap, using all of the runoff there nicely as he breaks for the 11th and final turn of this Laguna Seca track. Where is this going to put the number 55 as he crosses the line?
It's going to go. That's if it's an eligible lap
if
time.
It's
of
eligible,
course, it is 10th.
Yeah, so I would say, based on the form we've seen so far this season, there is an element of that is, you know, the tyre warm-up related. We would expect, on balance, to see Henry a little further up there. So there's not sure what happened there, but perhaps paying the price there for only giving himself the opportunity at the one hot lap.
Indeed. Well, all of the cars have completed their 3 laps or elected to finish it after 2. So Ross Deal will have pole position for the first race of the evening. Takes it by 0.061 ahead of Sam Sanders, Matthew Graham third. All 3 of those drivers looking for good performances tonight. Only 4 premiers here this evening, Henry Mackenzie Friedman being, of course, the other one down in 10th place. James de Havilland and Logan McAllister, they'll resume that battle for the intermediate honours. 4th and 5th, and Andrew Dawson, the fastest of the clubmans. Should say big congratulations to Andrew Dawson. Became a father since we last raced. So congratulations to everyone in the Dawson household.
Absolutely.
So, gridding up then for the first race of the night. As mentioned, Ross Deal, pole position from timed qualifying. Sam Sanders alongside him on the front row. Matthew Graham and James de Havilland will start on row 2. Logan McAllister and Andrew Dawson start on row 3. George Palozzi and James Drever start on row number 4. Murray Adams seems to be back in form so far tonight after a difficult couple of rounds. Is there on row 5 alongside Henry Mackenzie Friedman. We know there was definitely more pace out there for Henry Mackenzie Friedman. Only managed to get 1 flying lap in tyre temperature at a premium there. David Whitehouse and Matt Salmon will start on row number 6. First of the rookies is then on row 7. In fact, 2 of them. Matthew Shawnee, Antonio Gitsonio on that one. Antonio will be pleased to know Matt Hale is not here tonight. Won't be able to make contact with him as he has for the last couple of rounds. Joking, of course. James Fremont and Simon Delamere start on row number 8. Cameron Biggs and Eric Mignon start on row 9. Olavo Castro and Sam Dimolo on row 10. Seb Algieri completes the 21 runners here tonight at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Good news for the drivers in terms of getting some heat into the tyres. They'll be doing a full rolling up lap for this one. Plenty of opportunity to get some temperature into the tyres, into the brakes. We don't always see this. It's a bit of an iRacing decision as to where they do the formation lap from. There can be no complaints about having problems into turn 1 with this one, as they do indeed set off on that formation lap.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I have to say, my little timing widget here just lit up with a few crashes, so I'm not sure everyone got away quite how they intended there. But bear in mind it says crash, which sounds quite dramatic for the lightest of tackles between these drivers. Going through now, Andrew, that Andretti hairpin, and I think it's worth us reflecting. This could be a difficult race start because I do think that this is a particularly challenging track for race starts because it sort of all tightens up. I don't actually know if the track does get physically narrow, but it's certainly the way that the racing line works through the little kink at turn 1. Turn 1, the official turn 1 here is really a turn. It's just a curve to the straight, which then leads up to the Andretti hairpin. But that has the effect of sort of, you know, pushing everyone together, funneling them almost towards the racing line. And then you've got this tricky double apex where people will be perhaps being opportunistic on the inside, but you know, then they've all got to converge again at the second apex and get out on the exit quite cleanly. It's quite challenging for the drivers, it has to be said.
Yeah, it's not the easiest of circuits to race on. I'd say more so than the circuits we've been to so far this season, Alton Park and Okayama. Field coming through and down the corkscrew, which is going to be fascinating tonight, is it not? Especially on those first laps. There is Sam Sanders, big opportunity for. Sorry, mate.
But can also be a good overtaking opportunity. That's the key thing about the corkscrew. It's not just about getting the car through there. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. For these drivers at the front of the order, very big opportunity tonight for them. No Josh Ladd here at Laguna Seca. They've got to score well. Howard, over to you for the start.
Absolutely. So, around the final corner, and that's a good exit from Ross Deal. That's perfectly fair enough from him there as they get underway, and that's dream start for Ross Deal as they head down towards the Andretti hairpin for the first time. James de Havilland challenging Matt Graham on the outside as they go into the braking for this Andretti hairpin. How's it all going to be in discipline further down? Out of it they come, and that all looks good to me. Great to see the drivers with their sensible head screwed on in the early phases here, as James de Havilland is side by side with Matthew Graham there, challenging for third place, and Logan McAllister's looking to get in on this as well, and de Havilland has got the, well, I say he's got the job done. He'll have the outside for this next corner as they begin the ascent up the hill, and Matthew Graham is indeed going to slip back up the inside and is going to have good drive up the hill, and that might even leave de Havilland exposed to an attack from McAllister here, as behind them Andrew Dawson and George Palozzi are battling away over Clubman honours there for 6th place overall, and indeed George Palozzi has got by there, but they're side by side as they head up the hill for the first time, heading towards that crucial corkscrew.
Indeed, Dawson looking down the inside, Ross Steele away at the front of the order, surely trying, oh, it's contact through the corkscrew, Andrew Dawson's falling down the order. I think Simon Delamare's been in trouble there as well. I did wonder with Dawson, there was a big dive coming down the inside for the 1-2-3. Don't know if we can get a replay on that to see what happened into the corkscrew. Well, we thought it was going to be a flash zone tonight for incidents, and sure enough, problems for Dawson. Let's have a look at it again. So this is Zissé coming into the corkscrew up the inside of the 264. And, I think Dawson just snapped as a brake, and that's what causes James Dweeber as well. Apologies, it wasn't Simon Delamere, it's James Dweeber involved in the contact there through the corkscrew.
Yeah, indeed. It's unfortunate there for James Dweeber on there, because he wasn't really a part of that. The initial contact didn't involve him, but he just happened to be on the outside of Dawson and got tangled up. So unfortunate for him there, and yeah, just a little bit too bold maybe from Andrew Dawson. Misjudged the braking, bearing in mind you go over a crest as you head towards the corkscrew there. So, you know, the car goes light, and then you've got a very short distance to get the sort of real meat of the braking event done. As Ross Deal may have had a really good start, mate, at the start of that one, but Sam Sanders has been able to catch back up to him. He's keeping him very honest now as they head up the Rahal Straight and break for the corkscrew on the second time of asking.
Yeah, it's what we've seen so far this season in the BUKC iRacing Trophy. Leader cannot break away in most cases. The slipstream effect keeps it very close. Ross Deal a bit wide there, coming down the hill from the corkscrew. That's going through turn 9 into turn 10. And Matthew Graham's going to join in the fun here. On board with Matthew Graham now. Ross Deal wide once more. Needs to be careful on the off-tracks. The off-track and incident point penalty system is in play. Each driver has 17 at their disposal as down the inside goes Sam Sanders to take the lead of the race. Here comes Matthew Graham as well to the inside. Could Ross Deal lose 2 positions here to title rivals Sanders and Graham on lap 3? Yes, he will. So Matthew Graham, beautiful positioning there from the driver, the number 77, through and into second place.
Yeah, really, really nice exchange. A respectful exchange there between our top three. 75% of our Premier class. as Henry Mackenzie Friedman is on a charge, trying to work his way up through the top 10 after that. By his standards thus far this season somewhat lowly 10th place starting position here. He is. He's recently got by on George Palozzi, who won out in the, well, of course he ultimately won out in those clubman, that clubman battle he was having with Andrew Dawson after that incident on that one that befell Dawson. But that doesn't mean that Palozzi can breathe easy at the front of that those clubman ranks, because he's got Murray Adams right there with him in the number 6 just behind. As a reminder, red arches on the cars are your Premier, your blues are your clubmans, your greens your intermediates, and then the blacks are the rookies.
Indeed. And for a number of drivers at the front of the order, they've already used some drop scores. McAllister, as mentioned, has used 3 of them. Henry Mackenzie Friedman, the last time he went wheel to wheel with George Palozzi, Mackenzie Friedman wasn't on his wheels at all. He was upside down. And George Palozzi in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sorry, that was the other way around. They made contact and George Palozzi went upside down. Yeah, they've had some bad luck so far this year. Here's a good scrap. This is James Juba coming back through the field, up to P11 now, past Antonio Gitsonio in the 311. That was very nicely done indeed, as you say, Howard, round the outside. It's racing well so far this year, is James?
Yeah, absolutely. He'll be disappointed after that that one incident, which I think it's fair to say he sort of just got tangled up in, quite literally. I think his wheels sort of just got tangled up with Andrew Dawson's, but I think he's responding to it in the best way possible with a push up through the field, so good to see. As here are our top 3 once again tackling the corkscrew. It really can be about, there's that feeling where you suddenly get, you know, the full torque back down as the car lands, as it were, off the corkscrew, Andrew. And the line taken through there can really make a difference when you're having a battle out there. No opportunity this time for Ross Deal challenging Matthew Graham for second, or indeed either of them challenging Sam Sanders in the lead of the race as they come on to lap 5.
Good race so far, good pace as well, 1:31.5, so we're already quicker than we saw in timed qualifying earlier on today. Is down the inside. This is the battle between Mackenzie Friedman and Logan McAllister. Mackenzie Friedman on the inside now. Can he get the move done? Oh, contact there with Logan McAllister. Keeps it out of the wall. That's the best bit of news right now for Henry Mackenzie Friedman, but loses a number of positions. Here comes Matt Salmon down the inside. Oh, it is not the night for the 55 that was expected. It's all the way down to 9th place.
Yeah, it's a bold move, isn't it, into 3. It's quite a short, sharp braking zone, really. He went for it, and well, it's the second contact involving, or is it? Sorry, no. Yeah. James Juba has had an incident as well. Again out there.
Yes, that is the second piece of contact. So
yeah,
that's
what was confused me. I don't know if we're able to take a look at that one. What happened here? Quite clumped together, weren't they, in the mid-pack here?
This was the...
oh, this was lap 1.
This was the lap 1 incident.
This is the lap 1, apologies. I may have just got my... Maybe that is where James actually is on the recovery, apologies. My timing is having a little bit of a wobbly there. But yeah, Henry Mackenzie Friedman now, another driver who needs to work his way back. Well, I say that, he's only down to 8th with that incident. Lead battle going through Andretti hairpin again, slightly shallower line from Matthew Graham. You've got to be careful, haven't you? You can't really peel to the inside too much between the 2 apexes, because you'll just compromise your run off of that, and then you'll be vulnerable, as we kind of saw with Henry that lap, trying to get past Logan McAllister. The opportunity was kind of created because of the compromised line that Logan had coming out of that corner.
Yes, indeed. Back with our drivers at the front of the order momentarily. Simon Delamere here, part of a queue, all behind Eric Mignon at the moment. I was impressed with Eric's driving last time out. Had a bit of a baptism of fire, I think it's fair to say, at Alton Park, but stepped it up, and Okayama was around there. I think that was Matthew Shawnee going for a spin in the background. We'll catch back up with that in a moment. Looking back from Eric Mignon now, there is Simon Delamere looking down the inside for a move, possibly into the corkscrew. Good racing here between the two rookies. Oh, bit of a moment there for Simon Delamere. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Good spatial awareness from Eric Mignon as well. Saw Delamere flying down the inside, and no contact between the two of them.
Wow, I'm impressed by that move. That one took some dedication, certainly. And James Zuber sees the opportunity as well and tries to get by on Eric Mignon. He'll have the inside line for this last corner, and he's going to go down the inside there and claim 15th place there. And David Whitehouse is going to try and capitalise on this as well on Eric Mignon. So costly moment there for Mignon. It all started with a very, very bold move there by Simon Delamere. Let's just take a look at what happened with Matt Shawnee. Is this going to be aided into it, or just a moment? Oh, he's just a little bit wide. That corner, again, another corner here that I think is almost deceptive, Andrew. There's like almost tram lines on the inside that are so grippy, but if you're wide of it, you really can just suddenly find your car going, hang on, a corner? You didn't tell me about this. And suddenly it decides to swap ends on you.
Indeed. Again, I think James Drever is even having some connection issues because he's hopping around.
I think so, yes.
What hops up and I was about to say a kangaroo, but they don't have kangaroos in this part of the world. What hops up and down in out on the west coast of America? Tell us in the comments. But that is what's happening to James Drever right now on the timing and scoring. Back at the front of the order, Sam Sanders looking pretty comfortable right now. These three working together. But it's Murray Adams on the move as well. Has got ahead of Logan McAllister there, not too far behind as well. It's a fellow rival in the Clubman's, George Palozzi.
Yeah, I feel bad. Every time you're saying back at the front of the order, I cut away from it again. But some good battles happening throughout the field here. With Murray Adams under. Oh, that was quite the breaking moment there from Logan McAllister trying to get rid of George Palozzi's attack, but he went a bit deep into the corner, and that is George through and up into 6th place. So good little battle there, and Palozzi keeps alive the dream of being the top Clubman runner come the end of this race, as he clears exactly the same driver that Murray Adams dispensed with a few corners prior.
Indeed. So Sam Sanders, Matthew Graham and Ross Steele got about a 2.5 second gap to James de Havilland behind. Bit of a lonely scenario now for James de Havilland. He's got no help from behind. We're on board with Ross Steele, pole sitter earlier on tonight. If you're just joining us, the first of 3 races here from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell on commentary duties for you. Or a bit more rallycross there than racing, and that's going to be a compromised line for Matthew Graham. Is there an opportunity now for Ross Steele? No, he just holds back. Very difficult to overtake there into the last corner.
Absolutely, I think Ross went off there in sympathy with Matthew Graham on the left-hander after the corkscrew. It's so easy to do when you become a sort of transfixed on the driver ahead of you if you've been in a battle with them for a number of laps, but managed to keep things together. As a bit further back, don't know if Sam Dimolo might have had a connection issue here, because he's dropping down the timings here. James Fremont's also dropped down the timings.
Well, quite a few drivers in the pits.
Yes.
Has there been an incident out there? Because they were all around the same part of the order, I think.
So an incident for Simon. Okay, let's take a look at what happened here. So this is Simon Delamere. And what's happened here then?
He's down into turn 1. Oh, he's had a little bit of a spin. Cameron Biggs has had a bit of contact. That shouldn't have made too much damage though. They're pretty robust cars, these.
What happened with James Fremont? Let's see if we can jump to that. So this is coming towards the corkscrew, isn't it? Coming up the hill at least. And was that a...
I'm not quite sure how to describe that one. It just seems to park it on the apex of the corkscrew. I think that goes down in the folder of "you can't park there, sir."
It certainly, yes. struggling to think of worse places to park the car, but a good demonstration of the brakes on these Formula Ford cars, I must say. That was quite impressive, aside from the fact that another Formula Ford immediately went into the back of it.
I wasn't quite expecting the level of stop.
No, no. Back with our battle over 5th place it is now. Again for Clubman Hollins and Logan McAllister. And, oh, well, now this is a rematch, isn't it? Henry Mackenzie Friedman on the back of Logan McAllister now. And, yeah, it was, he'll be, perhaps be a little bit more discerning about the point where he shows his nose in this one for Henry. It didn't go to plan last time around, although here he is having a look. This is another interesting place to go for the overtake, but he's made it work there. And fair play to Logan as well for holding his speed around the outside of that corner, because we have seen drivers struggling with grip through there before. The corner they've just gone through, mate, I always find really difficult as well.
Yeah.
It can depend a little bit on the car, but I mean, if you've got a car with understeer, that turn 6 up the hill is a horrible feeling in the car. It just feels like it's going to throw you off into the sand and dust.
And it's one of those as well that, again, because there's no tarmac runoffs here at Laguna Seca, can be in trouble very, very quickly indeed. We're on lap number 10. All of these races run to time, so we're 15 minutes through the 25 scheduled. Into the final corner they go once more. Thank you for joining us. If you're enjoying the stream, do give it a like and a share as well on your social media platforms of choice. Looking back here from Sam Sanders, there is Matthew Graham. And yes, we will acknowledge the petition that Matthew Graham's got out at the moment for a change of the schedule to have the Charlotte Roval put in. What does he think this is? A democracy? No, it's not happening. We're staying with the remaining the remaining tracks, which the details of you can see on the DDMM Instagram page. Maybe another time though for the Roval. What I will say is it'll be one I'll definitely be commentating on, because I can't stand driving around that place.
I also can't stand driving around it. I'm really sorry to any Charlotte Roval fans. It's just not my kind of track. I'm not sure I'm going to be able. I'm not sure I can be signing that particular petition. But yes, we've had an incident further down the order. Let's just have a look here. This is Matthew Shawnee, and as he had a very similar incident to what we saw before. Yes, and then is someone going to join him? Oh,
Not quite.
no, not quite.
Should note as well that there's been two big topics of discussion since we last raced. One of them was, when are we having the Charlotte Roval? Never. And the other is, when is the rain coming? Well, of course, in the public lobbies, the rain is very much here. Round there. That is George Palazzi. That looked like it was all on George's own there. I think he was a bit offline, showing that track condition is tricky out there, but it's lost him a number of positions and lost the tow to that group chasing from 4th place down. Let's have another look at that. I think he just outbrakes himself. Just outbrakes himself, gets on the dirt and spins it round.
Yeah, was going for a move on the inside and just overcooked it. And that does mean, as further up ahead, it looks like Henry Mackenzie Friedman has got past on Murray Adams, and Logan McAllister would like a bit of this as well. But Murray Adams moves across just to deter that move. But yeah, I think that's slightly well, no, Logan's going on the attack again here. This is all over 6th place. And he's going to do a move that's very similar to what we saw Henry Mackenzie Friedman do on Logan just a few laps ago. But it's not quite as emphatic. Is there a little touch there at the wheels as they head up the hill through this difficult corner of turn 6? And round the outside, Murray Adams is going to keep his foot in it. That's amazing.
Oh, really good stuff from last year's Class 2 champion in the main Club 100 iRacing Championship. Seems to be back on form here tonight at Laguna Seca. This has been more like the Murray Adams of 2023 so far in round number 3. That was good commitment from the Scotsman round the outside of last year's Club 100 Cadet champion. Has lost them a bit of time to Friedman up ahead though.
True, very true. As just want to cut back to the lead battle because the gap just shot down there, and I wondered if that was Matthew Graham firing a move under brake. It wasn't quite. It stays as they are through the hairpin, but yeah, that was that's a Murray Adams that Racing Trophy season, and that's great to see him. That's great to see him driving like this again. That was really good stuff from Adams there.
Indeed. Apologies, Howard. I thought we just lost you for a second there, but yeah,
Oh.
you're back now.
Apologies.
But yes, rain talk. Where's the rain? Well, one, it's California. It doesn't rain in California. Two, decision was taken at the very start of the season. No, this is very much a development championship, particularly for our drivers in rookie category, giving them an opportunity to learn, to race, to get ready for championships and series later in the year that we'll be organising through SimGrid and through the Club 100 Sim Racing Championships. It's not a no never for the Tempest system in the races that we're hosting. Absolutely, we want to get it in, but not for this one. Thought keep it dry, keep it a bit easier for the drivers to get used to these tracks, because no practices. There's a change from last year that no official practices are held, so it's very much rock up on the night, race, and deal with the car on the track, which for some drivers is the first time they've driven it. So don't worry, for the main championship later in the year, plans afoot to have cars that are already using the Tempest weather system, and very much looking forward to using that later on in 2024. And I think because there have been a couple of teething troubles within the public lobbies, I think it was the correct decision to do that for our league system here.
Absolutely. David Whitehouse chasing James Juba, who, if you're wondering, he currently sits second in the intermediates, who are called James class. Which is a bit like LMP1 Privateer a few years ago, basically. You will get on the podium, just finish.
Yes.
Yeah, nice little defensive move there from James, just to deter a move from David Whitehouse into turn 3. Through 4 they go, and head towards turn 5. We've seen a few moves there towards the front of the field, but David Whitehouse choosing not to go for a move there. And to be fair, to a certain extent, it makes a lot of sense, because he wants to pick his moment carefully here. He doesn't want to lose too much time. Neither of them want to lose too much time, actually, in this battle. Olavo Castro is the driver next up the field, who sits second in our rookie standings and is some 2.5 seconds back from class leader at the moment, Antonio Gizzonio. Yeah,
Olavo racing well so far tonight. Performances like this, good opportunity to move up the order. At the moment in the championship standings, Olavo sits, just remind myself, 14th overall, but crucially third in the rookies, and only 2 points behind Matthew Shawnee. So effectively, with this result, would take the lead in the subclass for the rookies. Just want to keep it nicely on the road now, for not a lot of time left in this first race of the evening. 3 or less than 3 minutes to go. Back at the front of the order, Sam Sanders still leading from Matthew Graham, and they've not shaken Ross Deal off yet. It still could be any of these three, but I feel like now is the point where Sam Sanders is going to start feeling that pressure, and is going to have to get his elbows out here. Quite a wide circuit in places here at Laguna Seca. They'll come around, I think they'll get 2 more laps in here. They'll cross the line with around 2 minutes to go, so they'll get another full one in on time, and then time will expire in 2 laps' time. Deal looking down the inside on Matthew Graham there. Matthew Graham leaves space on the inside. That's good defence, good carrying of the speed by Matthew Graham. This is a great opportunity now for Sam Sanders to break away. We have got 2 minutes remaining, so there'll be lap number 16 and then 17 to bring us to the checkered flag. Graham defending a touch, not too hard, knowing that he doesn't want to defend too hard there through turn 1 and through the Andretti hairpin, because he'll lose more time to Sam Sanders. Maybe that's just one of those defences to assert himself ahead of Ross Deal, to say, no, I'm going to hold on to this second place here, mate. You need to work with me to close down the race leader.
Logan McAllister having a look at Murray Adams there, but Adams once again has been able to fend him off. This has been good defensive driving from Murray Adams for the last few laps. But that's another battle to watch towards the end of this one, and this battle's still raging away as well between James Juba and David Whitehouse. So a fair few battles here in the closing stages. And Ross Deal has got by on Matthew Graham there. So apologies, we missed that crucial. Let's see if we can just see how he got that done. Oh, and it was a Larry moment on the dust for Graham there that gave the opportunity.
Yeah, just through turn 5, dipped the right wheels into the sand, and it pulled the car away from the tarmac, and that was enough for Ross Deal to get through. This has been a very good lap for Sam Sanders, has kept it calm, kept it quick. Out front now by 0.9 of a second. Last lap flag about to be shown, because Deal and Graham are fighting here over P2. There is the white flag. Sam Sanders is away and gone. Could he get his first win of the season? Second, third, second, sixth, fifth and third so far this season for Sam Sanders. A side-by-side once again, Deal and Graham through the Andretti hairpin. Ross Deal holding on to it with his nose ahead, but Graham's still there. Graham down the inside now as they go into the next corner. Very close to touching there, but Matthew Graham's going to be through and back into second place.
Oh, that was really, really bold stuff there from Matthew Graham. Ross Deal doesn't want to give this one up without a fight. He's going to have another go here into turn 5, but it's going to be super difficult to hold the advantage around the outside there. Good racing respect from Matthew Graham, though, gives him the room, and Ross Deal does have a nose ahead. Is this going to be a Murray Adams-esque move that we saw from earlier on? Yes, it is. Round the outside of 6 goes Ross Deal into second.
Oh, brilliantly done by Ross Deal there, keeping his foot in it round the outside. Inch perfect. This is handing the win, though, to Sam Sanders. He is clear and gone to take his first victory of the season. Big, massive slide for Matthew Graham down the corkscrew. Holding on to that one. Race winner last time out in Okayama, pushing all the way here in round 3. But for Sam Sanders, had a difficult time at Okayama, but is back on form here on a night where he needs to take race wins, needs to take points in Josh Ladd's absence. Sam Sanders takes the first win of the night. Second is going to go to Ross Deal. Third to Matthew Graham. It's another win in intermediate for James de Havilland. More points for the former Newcastle BUKC driver. Henry Mackenzie Friedman in 5th. Murray Adams first of the Clubman drivers, home P6. Logan McAllister 7th. George Palozzi is going to be 8th. And 9th will be Matt Salmon. Here is Antonio Gitsonio, who's going to be your top driver in rookie and in the top 10 as well. Best result of the season so far for Antonio Gitsonio. Olavo Castro goes across the line in 11th and takes the live lead in rookie ahead of James Juba. David Whitehouse, Sam Dimolo will be home inside a top 15 completed by Andrew Dawson. Here they come round the final corner now. So a decent drive from the back of the grid there for Dimolo. Dawson 15th. Eric Mignon is going to be 16th, you would imagine, but is about around 11 seconds further back. Is just coming over the start-finish line now. Cameron Biggs is also going to finish in a few seconds' time. He's going to be home in 17th place. And 2 more cars still circulating. Simon Delamere will be 18th, and Matthew Shawnee, difficult race there for Shawnee, will be in 19th. One retirement from that race. James Fremont and Seb Algieri did not start. Good stuff there, Howard. Good first race of the night. Laguna Seca proving as ever it's a tricky mistress to handle.
Absolutely, mate. And, yeah, it's not just the other drivers that you battle here at times. It can be the racetrack, and I think that's what makes it fun in the form of a challenge there. But we haven't got long to reflect on what we just saw, because as is the format, I'm not gonna get caught out by it tonight. We are going immediately into gridding up for race 2.
We are indeed, and the grid is the order that we've just seen from race 1 there. So Sanders and Deal on the front row of the grid, Matthew Graham and James de Havilland row 2, Friedman and Adams row 3, McAllister and Palozzi row 4, Salmon and Gitsonio row 5, Castro and Juba there on row number 6. Into the second half of the field, Whitehouse and Dimolo on row 7, Dawson and Mignon on row 8, Biggs and Delamere on row 9, Shawnee and Fremont on row 10, and Seb Algieri hopefully will be able to join the race for this one. I'm thinking had some form of issue that prevented him from taking the grid there in race number 1. Good evening to Matt Hale. Greetings from Antalya. Hopefully I've not butchered that too much. It says he probably would have won that race with a couple of bevies as well. I'm sure you would have, man, of course. Formation lap underway, Howard, for the second race of the night, and it's going to be battle resumed at the front between, you'd imagine, those top 3 that we saw from race 1 of the Premier, but for James de Havilland, hopefully he can get himself in there as well.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be interesting. One driver I'm going to look for here, mate, is this driver right here in the 55. Henry Mackenzie Friedman qualified 10th. And you might say, well, he's only got up to 7th in that first race. But he is there in 7th. He's that slightly a bit further up the top 10. He's been separated from his classmates by dint of a not wholly successful qualifying earlier on. He's on the other side of the grid this time, of course, as well, in that 7th place. So he's on the left-hand side, which will give him the inside line through the kink at 1 and into the Andretti hairpin. So could be one to watch here off the start for Henry Mackenzie Friedman. He has won race. He has been a race winner already this season, and I'm sure he would like to repeat that again. But he's had to work his way up here from the fringes of the top 10 in race number 1.
Indeed. His car leading the field up the hill now towards the corkscrew. We saw a bit of drama through the corkscrew on lap 1 last time out. If you join the stream, new round here, make sure that you've subscribed to the channel. More rounds coming, 2 weeks time. We'll be at Rutskirchen for the penultimate round of the championship, then at Virginia International Raceway for the season finale a few weeks after that. There will be, well, all of the race weeks are on non-racing weeks for in real life BUKC. If you missed the coverage from Warden Law last week, do recommend that you give that a good watch. Tricky conditions for the drivers up in Sunderland on the mains day, but some very good performances nonetheless. Here we go then, race number 2 at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, and it looks like Sam Sanders has hit the loud pedal at the perfect time, gets away off the front of the field. The rest of them running towards. Seb Algieri has joined the race this time, so it's 21 drivers heading down to the Andretti hairpin. Matthew Graham on the inside there, fighting with Ross Deal, has got second place, side by side as well between Friedman and McAllister behind. It's been a decent start for the 4th of the Prems, down the inside, fighting once again with the youngster in the 268, has to concede that one. It's Sanders, Graham, Deal, de Havilland, McAllister, Friedman, Adams, Palozzi, Salmon and Juba. That is your top 10 as they run towards turn 5.
Nice orderly start through the first corner, although I think Matthew Shoney unfortunately may have had some drama again there off towards the back, unless he maybe did a pit lane. He did a pit lane start. He did a pit lane start to give himself a slightly easier run into this race, bed himself in. So that's a nice play there. And James Juba again with that one incident. Oh, that's unfortunate there. And once again, he'll have to work his way up the field from that one.
Hopefully there's not too much damage on the car, if any at all. It's not too far off the back. Will have the pace surely to move his way back through the order. As Eric Mignon very out of shape there, coming down the hill. Drivers doing well to avoid. The Belgian having a bit of problems there, and will fall down to 19th place, as I do believe that Seb Algieri has not actually taken the start and is not circulating around there out of the race. Side by side, Logan McAllister fighting with Henry Mackenzie Friedman. Murray Adams trying to look to the outside as well. An interested party there in P7. Down the inside, close again, nearly locking wheels. In fact, they are locking wheels. Henry Mackenzie Friedman and Logan McAllister. But such is the level of these two drivers. They managed to keep it going without further problems. They're still going to be side by side as they run towards turn number 4. Logan McAllister making one of the Premiers work really hard for this, as here comes Murray Adams in that number 6 car in the Clubmans to the outside now of McAllister towards turn number 5. Friedman has got ahead of the rest of them. There's good opportunity now to break away as George Palozzi is going to join the fun. This is what we love to see here in the BUKC iRacing Trophy. Up the hill now towards towards the corkscrew, on board with George Palozzi. Bit too far back there to have a dive into one of the trickiest corners in American road racing. This is a good fight once again. James de Havilland this time has also joined the top 3, so it's 4 followed by 4 covering your top 8.
Yeah, really good battles there. I couldn't help but have a flashback to race 1 there, when Henry and Logan were side by side going into turn 3, but this time that was able to happen without some contact, and without Friedman heading off to driver's left, and he got the move done. There you go. He was just rehearsing in race 1, and that was the finished article, and a very nice finished article of a move it was. As Murray Adams, bold move there to the inside of the Andretti hairpin on Logan McAllister, but we've seen that Logan does not, as there's an incident there for Olavo Castro in the background, you can just see that is still Logan McAllister ahead of Murray Adams. Good battling, good fighting spirit here from Logan, it has to be said, in the early stages of the second race of this round.
Yeah, this is what we saw from Logan a lot last year in the Club 100 cadets, stepping up to the juniors in real life this year. First round for the Club 100 juniors next weekend at Rye House, not the one coming, the one after that. And do make sure that you're following at Club 100 Racing for all the news. Not a streamed round. All the details of which rounds are streamed you can also find on the pinned post on the social media. Oh, touch there! Palozzi into the back of Matt Adams. Just looked like he got his braking wrong. Murray Adams is round as well. Down the hill they go, but not the moment that George Palozzi was looking for at all. The two clubmen's coming together.
Yeah, and ironically, it's just battle resumed as well, because they've both got going at the same time as well. So as David Whitehouse arrives on the scene, they might just start up all over again, and it's still for the clubman lead because of Andrew Dawson having to work his way back up through the field. Although, as you can see, he's just there's just one car that separates the clubman runners in the form of David Whitehouse, because Andrew Dawson, in his distinctive blue and orange livery, sort of the golf-esque livery there, is right behind them. But ironically, Adams and Palozzi sort of both spun, dusted themselves off, and was like, oh, okay, well, let's kick that off again then.
Matt Salmon will be pleased about that. He's up to P7 now. Antonio Gitsonio as well. Will very much be what we'll be wanting Matt Hale to stay in Turkey at this rate, because he's miles at the order. P8 there, no troubles. The two of them have come together in both rounds so far, and this is a very good night so far for Antonio, who joined the championship towards the back end of 2023. Did a few rounds of the main Club 100 iRacing championship. He's really getting into his stride now, on board with Logan McAllister. That's Henry Mackenzie Friedman up ahead. This is where we saw Adams and Palozzi come together one lap ago. No, nothing as dramatic there for Friedman and McAllister. They seem glued together, the two of them. It's one of those cases where it's there's a set of invisible elastic bands between these two cars, because they've been in close proximity for the whole night.
Yes, it's surviving between sessions, this elastic band. Doesn't seem to matter which race we're in. These two seem to be battling away.
Change for third place. James de Havilland has found a way past Matthew Graham. He's having another great run. Is James de Havilland. Doesn't quite have the lead in the intermediate ranks at the moment. That's mainly due to some problems at Oulton Park. Remember that race? Oh, as round there is Matt Salmon. Oh, is everybody doing very well to avoid. Cameron Biggs looking around the outside as well. Brilliant driving. Brilliant driving by everyone to avoid there. Very heads-up awareness from everyone. Fortunate for Matt Salmon, falls down a number of positions, as here's David Whitehouse trying to fend off Andrew Dawson. Whitehouse back into the top 10. He's really got going here in race 2. It was a bit quiet in the first race of the evening, but I think they've all got used to where the opportunities are around this Laguna Seca circuit, and they're taking full advantage of them.
Yeah, Sam Dimolo trying to buy into that, as well as Andrew Dawson. Got a little balked by a failed move on David Whitehouse, but he couldn't make anything of it himself, so it stays as they were for the battle from 10th down to 14th.
I don't know if you can have a search through the replay option, Howard, to see if we can find out what happened to James Juba on lap number 1. His spin. I'll leave you to do that one.
Do let me know. I've found it. Do let me know if this calls. We have had a few issues where we jump back a few laps, so just let me know.
Let's have a go. Let's have a go and see. Oh no, it is having a bit of a moment. So we'll. Apologies, Jack. We're not going to be able to bring you the full story on what happened there with James. We'll go back to live for this one.
For what it's worth, I could see what happened there, and it was contact. I didn't catch who it was, but it was contact going through turn number 6 that led to James going around. So he was helped into it, as it were.
Encouraged.
Indeed. Look at this for the lead of the race. Ross Dill having a real look here at Sam Sanders as they head up the hill. Sam Sanders does what we've seen several people do very impressively this evening, kept his foot in it and managed to retain the lead there, but he's under real pressure here from Ross Dill.
He's indeed, and this is a good opportunity now for Graham de Havilland, Friedman and McAllister, all very close together. They're closing in as well. It was 1.2 seconds not too long ago. It's now 0.8 between second and third places. So we could have a 6-way scrap for the lead here in race 2.
Here's the battle for Clubman still going on between Adams and Palozzi as well, which is the next group back from that top 6 who are closing up together now. Well, it's good to keep us entertained here, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. It's good to see the James Juba fan club still love him, despite the problems down in 20th place. And they love each other as well. That's all good to see in the comments. Good evening to Peter Knight as well, cheering on Murray Adams. And hello to the BPEC fraternity amongst very difficult times at the moment for BPEC and our thoughts go to the whole Hutchinson family. But great to see a very strong turnout at round 1 of the British Pro Kart Endurance Championship last weekend at Wilton Mill. Very good indeed. Through and up the hill go the leaders of the race: Sanders, Deal, Graham de Havilland. Friedman there in 5th place as well. Got 7.5 seconds over still the battling duo of Adams and Palozzi, who've found their way back past Gitsonio.
That's the first time Friedman and McAllister are more than a second apart. Are they allowed to do that? I'm sure I've seen that this evening. But for the first time, Friedman getting a bit of breathing space, a bit, over the 2.68 of Logan McAllister. Oh, and Logan's pushing hard to make up for that. You can just see in the background as well. So it's okay. You can be a second apart, guys. It's okay. It's allowed. But yeah, I suppose from Logan's perspective, it's a second in the wrong direction, as far as he's concerned.
Lap 8 then, new fastest lap of the race has just gone in from Ross Steele in P2. Here is the fight for 3rd. Matthew Graham there in the FFR number 77. James de Havilland, that green roll hoop, the FF1600 specialist, showing some good pace yet again. They're looking to potentially move up the categories later on in the year if James has a go at the main championship. He's right on the cusp of becoming a Clubman driver. Been away for a couple of years. Club 100 Sim Racing Championship form. It's been great to have him back so far this season. There in 4th place at the moment.
Move for Clubman lead. Palozzi having a look at Murray Adams. Not the first time we've seen Murray Adams tested, have his steel tested around the outside of this section of the track, and I think he's going to do another repeat performance of, yeah, I am on the outside for the next corner at turn 6, but I don't mind. And he retains the position there in 7th place. Further back as well. What's going on here? That's Andrew Dawson battling away with David Whitehouse and Sam Dimolo. I thought we were going to see contact for a split second then, because I think it was Dimolo seemed to stop on a dime. Very good, the brakes on these Formula Ford cars, aren't they? But all stays fair.
Looking a bit further down the, further up the order.
Sorry.
James de Havilland still in the centre of this Premier sandwich. Graham and Freeman ahead and behind. What's their pace like at the moment? Well, they're in the mid 131s. So they're almost at the same pace as the two leaders, as Sam Sanders has put in a new fastest lap of the race last time around, 131.29. We're at the halfway stage of race 2. Means we're at the halfway stage of the race evening. One more race to come up after this. Will be a short break after race 2, just to give the drivers the opportunity to reset themselves, take a comfort break after 2 long races in the time qualifying. No way through there for Henry Mackenzie Friedman. On the brakes into the corkscrew yet again. And I think for these 3 right now, Howard, it's got to be keep line astern. It's that phase of the race where you don't want to fight, you don't want to let those 2 drivers ahead get too much of a gap, and just keep them under pressure as they go towards the latter phase.
Yeah, there's still opportunities that could come their way, so whatever they do, they don't want to spend too much or lose too much time in a battle, which around this Laguna Seca circuit generally can mean don't go for it for a little bit, because it's not the easiest place to overtake, and you generally have to perform an overtake by seriously compromising either yourself or your fellow competitor, or both in an exchange. So yeah, it's a time to just pick your battles and keep your powder dry, maybe in hope of well, greater riches to be offered to you towards the end of the race.
Indeed. So Sanders and Deal continuing to hold position. Cameron Biggs has impressed me in this. Oh, it's down the inside.
Oh.
Ross Deal going for the move on Sam Sanders. Give Sam Sanders space on corner exit. Are they going to be side by side? No, they're not. Deal is through. Ross Deal to the lead of the race then on lap number 10. How much time are they losing to the trio behind though? They've lost around 3/10. Does Sam Sanders go for a move into the corkscrew? No, elects to just sit there. So change of the order. Ross Deal backing himself. He's got to put some good pace in now. Has got the fastest lap of the race so far, 1 minute 30.98, but that was with a slipstream, of course. Can he break away from the rest of them behind as the trio behind are closing in now? The gap is less than a second between Sam Sanders and Matthew Graham.
And there was a change in the background whilst Ross Deal was making that move, mate, in the form of Henry Mackenzie Friedman getting by on James de Havilland for 4th as well. So for the first time in this round, in fact, we have got all of our Premier class together in that top 4. It's been a long time coming, but Henry Mackenzie Friedman in getting by on James de Havilland, who certainly isn't out of the picture here, trailing him there in 5th place. But Friedman up to 4th place and trying to chase down the top 3.
Good evening to Josh Ladd, who's not able to race with us tonight, but has tuned in. Hope you're doing well, mate. Has requested a bit of George Palazzi counter. I'm worried to do this because every time we seem to show George on the screen, he gets cursed.
He'll be fine.
Not this time. But there he is, in 8th place at the moment, 6/10 behind Murray Adams. This is for the lead in Clubman. Solid points would be scored here for 2 drivers who've had problems at times so far this year. Yes, Michael. Yes, we were showing you your main man. Oh, he's off!
Whoa.
He's off! We said he'd get cursed. See, this is all your fault, chat. He's survived. Quick, change the camera, Howard, before he has another moment. There we go, back with the race leaders.
Oh, and there's a bit of dust kicked up there for us. I thought he was going wider than he actually did there. But pushing hard, isn't he, at the front of the field? Has George got us on? Is he looking at another screen when we show him?
Well, maybe that's why he goes off the circuit every time we bring him on circuit. Concentrate on the driving, Palazzi.
Particularly through turn 6. I'd say your best chance to look would be out of the Andretti hairpin towards 3. That's probably your best place to have a look if you're going to.
Michael Preston said that's not how you warm up tyres. Not indeed. Good evening to Stuart Rice as well. Here's the driver that I was wanted to see about 2 laps ago. Cameron Biggs having a really good race in the University of Portsmouth car. Fighting there with Sam Dimolo. That's over 12th place. My oh my. But Cameron, who joined us for Okayama the first time. Can't remember whether we actually had the livery on for Okayama. So if we didn't,
no,
here it is. I think it's one of the best liveries on the grid in, let's say, the Portsmouth colours, the blue and the purple.
Yeah, really nice looking car. Oh, there's a change. Oh, side by side here for third place. This is Mackenzie Friedman versus Sam Sanders, and he's around the outside and got the job done. And all of that, we've missed a bit of that, haven't we? Because when did Matthew Graham get by on Sam Sanders as well?
Yes, so a bit of a difficult phase of the race here for Sam Sanders. Let's have a look. This was into the corkscrew, it would seem. Sanders locking up a bit.
Graham goes
round the outside. Lovely stuff from Matthew Graham. That's how you take P2. And that's how Henry Mackenzie Friedman got through as well, round the outside, coming down off the corkscrew. And it's, well, James de Havilland has rejoined the fight as well, so it's 5 at the front of the order. Graham to the inside, through turn number 3. Leaves the room for Henry Mackenzie Friedman. I'm getting flashbacks to Okayama again, where they raced well together for a lap and a half or so, but came to blows. Here comes Sam Sanders on the sand there, 3 wide, as they run towards turn 5. James de Havilland quite wisely just holds himself out of this, because he's going to try and do the switch back here on Sam Sanders. Henry Mackenzie Friedman loses a bit of pace there. He's going to lose 3rd, possibly 4th as well. Brilliant racing once again, round the outside. Holds Henry Mackenzie Friedman. Brilliant racing here at Laguna Seca.
And it's given Ross Dill the opportunity to break away here, Andrew. He's got a second in hand now as these drivers battle away. This is the opportunity that he wanted to try and get some breathing space. But, I mean, it came courtesy of fantastic battling we're getting here. Throughout the field, it has to be said. But that was a beautiful exchange between these drivers. And I think de Havilland is forgiven for going, how did I not come out of that with something to get with some gain? But that's brilliant stuff as Sam Sanders and Matthew Graham now side by side out of the final corner, turn 11, coming on to the new lap. Henry Mackenzie Friedman trying to position himself tactically as well as they head towards the Andretti hairpin once again.
Ross Deal clear and gone now. This fight for 2nd place raging on down the inside. Sam Sanders there, but is he going to be wide? Oh, Matthew Graham's going to be a touch wide. Back through comes Henry Mackenzie Friedman. Logan McAllister's not too far off this pack as well, 2.5 seconds further back.
It was the lightest tap between Graham and Sanders in the middle of the Andretti hairpin, between the 2 apexes there. It's the front left of Graham on the rear right of Sanders. It just upset the car slightly and gave Friedman an opportunity. As he's having a look on the inside of 5, but he can't make anything off it, and that might actually compromise Friedman up the hill. Matthew Graham may have an opportunity here, although Friedman has slotted back in line.
Indeed, up the hill once more. Steele will be liking this. 1.2 seconds clear of this squabbling pack. Henry Mackenzie Friedman has a little look down the inside, doesn't commit though. I think that's one of those where he's just trying to get Sam Sanders off the racing line, compromise the cornering speeds of the number 3 car. Up at the front, it's a great fight for championship points. Remember, each of the drivers' races scored the same, so it's not a case of whether round points get allocated a la BUKC Teams Championships at the end. It's a race win, it's 50 points in the championship. Getting reports as well from Josh Ladd. I'm not sure whether this is true or not. 15x for Matthew Graham. So, well, it's 17 before you get a penalty.
They've gone. Oh, sorry, mate. I think I had a slight cut out there potentially.
Yeah, you're back with us now. Well, the information we've got is Matthew Graham on 13 off tracks. Well, still accumulated quite a few, but we have seen before that our information could be a little bit misaligned with what's actually happening out there. But yes, for Matthew Graham, one piece of contact could result in a drive-through penalty automatically applied by iRacing's incident system here.
This is the closest battle on track, it's worth saying. David Whitehouse and Cameron Biggs are within a second of each other. That's over 11th. There's a good battle from 14th down through 16th between Castro, Dimolo and Shawnee. But this by far and away the closest battle. The Murray Adams-George Palozzi battle is now separated to the tune of 2 seconds. So it's not like Adams can rest on his laurels exactly, but just perhaps slightly calmer state of affairs throughout much of the field. To be fair, maybe this little battle pack have sort of calmed slightly as they maybe go, oh heck, Ross has got a little bit out front, hasn't he? Maybe we should work together. Although having said that, that was a bit of a cheeky look there, I think, from Matthew Graham through Andretti. But they're probably making a very temporary alliance here to try and keep Ross Steele within arm's length.
Yeah, they've got a bit of time to play with. 1.5 minutes remaining on the clock. They've got to stay organised, and they're not doing, because down the inside, here comes Henry Mackenzie Friedman looking for second place, but good defence from Sam Sanders around the outside. See there, he just carried the speed. Hooked Henry Mackenzie Friedman right down there onto the curb, didn't allow him to take the speed off the corner. Bit of dirt being kicked up there, Matthew Graham. Matthew Graham's got a problem. Matthew Graham may have a slowdown there, pulled off the racing line, didn't fight and just allowed James de Havilland to go through. Or is it more? Is it more than that? Is it potentially that he's going to have to come into the pits here for a penalty? We know he's close on the incident points to 17. No, not that time. Doesn't go into the pits. I think Logan McAllister might be a bit close on the incident points as well. But again, sometimes it shows us a few more incident points on our screens than they actually have. So we'll remain to see on that one. White flag is out then.
And Friedman, sorry Andrew, side by side between Friedman, and look out for James de Havilland. He's going to try and go round the outside here at Andretti. That's going to be a bold move there. Is he going to be able to at least have a stick a move around Sanders? He can't quite make it work, but he'll have the inside line for 3, and that's a beautiful move from James de Havilland up into 3rd place.
Proper stuff there from James de Havilland. That's what we like to see. Gains him more points as he tries to take the lead in the intermediate class tonight away from David Whitehouse. Sanders to the outside. Different BUKC generations going wheel to wheel here. Back on board with Matthew Graham into turn number 6 they go. Then they're still side by side. Graham just holds back a little bit, looks for the opportunity to slide on the inside. Brilliant positioning. Oh, near contact there. I think there was contact between Sanders and de Havilland. De Havilland on the left-hand side elects to just hold out of that one. Sam Sanders runs a little bit deep. Is there going to be an opportunity now for Matthew Graham down the hill? It's going to be on the outside for the next left-hander. Brilliant stuff once again, but for Ross Steele, away and gone is going to be taking the checkered flag in race number 2 here this evening. Very good performance, made the move earlier than perhaps we thought, but this is going to be a win for Ross Steele, the first of the season for the Welshman. Takes it from Henry Mackenzie Friedman, 3rd for Sam Sanders ahead of James de Havilland. Matthew Graham completes the top 5.
Brilliant, brilliant racing. Logan McAllister finishing a fantastic 6th. Murray Adams crosses the line, has already crossed the line to take bragging rights in Clubman's. George Palozzi with another good drive. Antonio Gitsonio is your highest placed rookie driver. And David Whitehouse has crossed the line as well in 11th. Cameron Biggs in 12th. Matt Salmon in 13th. And it's Sam Dimolo, James Zuber finishing 2nd once again in intermediates called James. Olavo Castro in 16th place. Eric Mignon, Matt Shawnee, James Fremont, Simon Delamere, and Seb Algieri was a DNS once again.
Very good stuff here from the drivers in the Club 100 Sim Racing Championships edition of the BUKC iRacing Trophy. We'll be back in a short few moments' time. There's a bit of a 5-minute warm-up session now for the drivers to take a break or get a bit of extra practice in. We'll be back shortly after a little break ourselves here in the comms box. welcome back everybody to live coverage of round 3 of 5 for the 2024 BUKC iRacing Trophy racing here tonight around WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. We're getting ready for the third and final race of the evening. Myself, Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell in the virtual DDMM comms box for you. I know we keep saying it, Howard, across the course of this season, but the FF1600, the Formula 4, delivering once again 2 super races so far tonight.
Yeah, been fantastic, hasn't it? And we haven't found a combination of these Formula 4s with a track that I haven't liked so far. And no, that doesn't mean I want to try that combination with the Charlotte Roval. But yeah, no, it's been absolutely fantastic. And we have seen, haven't we, that race 3 has sometimes felt quite race 3-ish so far this season, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, a few more liberties being taken, perhaps.
Yeah. So I don't know. This could be interesting. When I say race 3-ish, any British touring car fans will know what I mean. Yeah, it's really provided some great racing. I've been amazed at how confident these drivers have been. You know, I think we've seen more moves around the outside this evening than we've had in entire seasons before. It's been really, really good to see the confidence of these drivers. And good racing room, generally good racing room being given as well. You know, I'll highlight the likes of Matthew Graham, who's had some amazing battles so far, but has always given good racing respect and room there, which is fantastic to see. So yeah, the standard of battle has been good. There's been a few bits of contact, particularly further down the order, but and a few drivers making unforced errors. But that's the nature of this track, mate. It is a challenge, and as I said earlier, that's kind of part of the appeal of it. But yeah, really looking forward to us having one last bite of the cherry here with racing action at Laguna Seca.
Indeed, gridding up then for race number 3, grid set by the results from race number 2. Here it is. Ross Deal starts on the front row again, and is this time joined by Henry Mackenzie Friedman, who's fought back brilliantly so far tonight. Could it be another victory for either of those drivers on the front row? Sam Sanders and James de Havilland on row number 2, Matthew Graham and Logan McAllister on row number 3. Couple of clubmans then on row number 4, Marie Adams ahead of George Palozzi. Antonio Gitsonio has been fantastic so far tonight. Starts on row 5 alongside Antonio Gitsonio. David Whitehouse is P11 alongside Cameron Biggs. Second half of the grid looks a little bit like this. Matt Salmon and Sam Dimlow on row 7, James Juba and Olavo Castro on row 8. Tough night so far for Juba. A couple of problems on the first lap, delaying him there. Hopefully an opportunity here to race through and get another top 10. Eric Mignon and Matthew Shawnee on row 9. James Fremonson, Simon Delamere row 10. Seb Algieri due to start, but I don't think it's out on circuit, so I think there'll be 20 cars again here for this next one. Note as well, I know there's obviously it's kind of gone a little bit under the radar with Tempest and the wet weather and everything, of course, but the other big change in the world of iRacing is the split of road iRacing calculations, of course, into Formula cars and sports cars. And I wonder if a few of our drivers have been working on their Formula iRatings, but there are a number of them. I think it's now the case of where drivers not above 2000 iRating are in the minority, which is very good to see.
Indeed, yeah, that's great to see. I mean, it's part of why we're all here, right? Is to have a development championship. So fantastic to see the drivers coming along. Sorry, I was just wondering if there were any relevant quotes from the Tempest that I could say. No, there aren't.
No, there are.
No, there aren't.
We'll work on that for next time.
Not least, I was about to erroneously quote Macbeth, so that's a problem. I'm not cultured enough for that. So let's focus on a race, shall we?
So last race of the evening then, for the Hall of Championship points available for the driver who can win this one. And very well, could be the race that decides who leads the championship after tonight. There will be a new championship leader, with Josh Ladd sitting this third round of the championship out. Hopefully be back for Ritskogen in 2 weeks' time. But how's this last race of the evening going to go down then? Ross Deal takes it from pole position. It's a much more even start this time. Across start-finish we go, taking the green flag. Henry Mackenzie Friedman challenging on the outside there. They're going to be 2 by 2 running into the Andretti hairpin for the first time. Ross Deal on the inside. Is there going to be enough room for both of them off of the corner? Yes, there is. Good start, but this is where it switches back in the favour of Henry Mackenzie Friedman, who takes the lead. Really good stuff. Has learned from the races so far. The first driver tonight, Howard, that we've seen taking the advantage from second on the grid.
Yeah, definitely. I was surprised to see that start from Deal in some ways. He'd been so strong off of pole in race number 1, wasn't he? But yeah, Henry Friedman was awake to that. And well, I said he'd been working his way up to all the way for these opportunities. I think David Whitehouse may have had an issue out there. Yeah, it's unfortunate for David. He's dropped to the back of the field. But yeah, Friedman's been working his way up to that kind of position all night. You know, started 10th, then he started 7th, and then his opportunity starting second on the grid. He has worked hard to get up into this position, and he's not going to give it up lightly now that he's got himself into the lead.
Had a race win in race 3 of the first round of the season, and a bit of a right moment there for Matthew Graham. I wonder if we can have a look at what happened to David Whitehouse. He's towed to pit lane. Not a good night for the driver who was 4th in the championship going into things tonight. So this is into turn 5. There's a bit of a split in the middle of the field already. 3 wide, and oh, tiniest little touch there with Matthew Salmon. Oh, and contact with Eric Mignon, who's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That is what's put David Whitehouse in the pit lane out of this one. Real shame.
Yeah, I don't know if quite catch who was on the outside of him, but there was 3 wide briefly there between 3 of the intermediate drivers, and I just wonder if maybe the driver on the outside didn't know they were 3 wide, and then sort of pinched down. And actually they stopped being 3 wide, but nonetheless was like, well, surely David can go in more than that. I don't know if there was just a pinch down there on him, but unfortunate there for Whitehouse either way. That's not it's not how you want race 3 to go.
No. Not at all. Front of the order. Friedman leading this one right now ahead of Ross Deal. Into the corkscrew they go once again. That down the inside is Logan McAllister in the improved stock Club 100 livery. There's still a few drivers running around in the very, very basic DDMM one. But big thanks once again to Chris Simpson for giving us his brilliant work, and then making it legal for the championship. But it's basically the same graphics that we have on the carts in real life, but on a Formula Ford. Looks very lovely. Yep,
had to wait until race 2 for all of our Prems to be running to be lying astern. Now the Clubmans are lying astern, but it's not for long as Murray Adams tries to get by on Logan McAllister.
Oh!
There's the opportunity for Palozzi, and he's going to get both of them there through Andretti. As Matthew Graham also gets by on Andrew Dawson. It's all changed in the latter half of the top 10.
Yeah, 2 drivers sharing one piece of tarmac was just not going to work on that one. Wide goes McAllister. This is going to be an opportunity now for Murray Adams to slot it down the inside. And apologies for, there we go with the graphics. The live positions up for you. Andrew Dawson trying to work his way through as well. Took a few moments here for Logan McAllister, because it's that classic sprint racing thing where you've been overtaken by one as off the road there. Matthew Graham is, well, that's definitely one way to lose positions, down to P10. But for Logan McAllister, you get off the racing line and it's very difficult in a close pack to get back onto it.
Yeah, definitely. Just lose a little bit of momentum in close pack racing, and it's all you need to really feel that pressure. Here's your pack of 4 at the front then. And then George Palozzi starting to look a little bit... Oh, there's a moment for Logan McAllister and he's round. And who's that he's collected? It's the 77 of Matthew Graham as well. And everyone having to come away from the racing line in avoidance here.
Well, I wonder if we can have a look at what's happened between us. There's also been problems, I think, for Olavo Castro and Matthew Shawnee and Eric Mignon. Let's have a look. This is down into the penultimate corner. Is it a moment where, oh, that's a big angle of attack. Round goes McAllister, collected by Andrew Dawson. Oh, and yeah, I think there's a slightest little clip to Matthew Graham as well. Not much that that Logan McAllister could do with that, but significant damage to a number of the front runners here in this last race of the night. And for poor Logan McAllister, well, this is the risk. Where if you do sit a round out, you use up 3 of your 4 drops. Well, that's going to be drop number 4 for Logan McAllister. He's going to have to run very well across the course of this season, and we've still got another 6 races to go after this one. 3 of them at Woodskurgan and the other 3 at Virginia International Raceway. If he wants to be the top intermediate and get some of those iRacing dollars on offer, and of course the competition for the top newcomer and a free entry into the main championship later in the year, he's going to need pretty much a perfect run from now to the end of the season.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate. In what's been such a strong evening for him, for Logan. Just an unforced error there, and it just happened to be a particularly costly one, as Andrew Dawson now has had to pull into the pit lane, presumably with a bit of damage on the nose after a fairly hefty impact with McAllister. Your heart's got to go out to Dawson there as well. He spent all evening working his way back up after a lap 1 incident in race 1. He finally got up with his classmates in the battle for 5th, and then has sort of become involved in that, and there wasn't much that Dawson could do in that situation as well. So yeah, gutting for him as well.
Not quite the same situation with number of drops as down the inside. Ross Deal on James de Havilland, and contact! Contact off of the corner, into the wall. Surely must have gone Ross Deal. He's getting back on circuit now. Well, I'd be interested in on an onboard of that one. We have seen drivers go through there side by side so far tonight. How much room did James de Havilland have on drivers right there? Oh, I think the initiation of contact. Ross Deal's kept it out the wall. Brilliant recovery from Ross Deal to not have any damage. We'll have to see on a different angle perhaps at a later stage. Was there any space for James de Havilland on the right hand side? Or was that simply 2 cars going into the same piece of tarmac yet again? Remains to be seen. But for Ross Deal, puts him down to 5th place, elevates George Palozzi up to 4th. So yeah, the contact is a bit before they reach the edge of the track limit. Very, very interesting situation there. So that very much leaves us with Friedman at the front, 1.5 seconds clear of a battle for 2nd place between Sanders and de Havilland. George Palozzi up to 4th. Ross Deal now 5th, and Murray Adams there in 6th. Antonio Gitsonio again. Yeah. He's 7 at the moment for the top rookie. 6 seconds back from the top 6, but that won't matter at all at the moment. Scoring some very good points.
Yeah, absolutely. I say this in no way to take away from it at all, but Palozzi's sort of got here by just keeping it clean.
Keep it clean,
yeah, undramatic. You know, it's a driver we've been seeing battling so much this evening, but to be honest, he's just picked the right, his instincts have served him well. He's just picked the right line through some of the chaos around him, to be honest. As he's about to start coming under pressure from the pirouette king of the evening in the form of Ross Deal, who yeah, did a very good job to keep it out of the wall, didn't he, in that incident into 5. Again,
not a lot of weight, so then that's at least one of the saving graces when you do have a problem in the FF 1600 is, as we've seen already tonight, it comes to a stop very quickly.
Yes.
I think if that was a GT3 car or a Formula 3 car, that would have been a trip to the wall, but not in this one. Murray Adams has got some pace all of a sudden. Howard had won 30.7 last time around for Murray. There in P6 is going along very nicely.
Yeah, well, he's got the motivation that Palozzi is ahead of him, which hasn't been the case, at least for this length of time this evening so far, as he might get an opportunity there, because that's very defensive from Palozzi there, and Palozzi gets passed by Ross Deal and is now immediately on the defensive and side by side with Murray Adams. We've seen Murray Adams be very confident around this part of the track before, and that's him up into 5th place and once more in the lead of Clubman's.
I think that might have been a slow down give up there by George Palozzi, because as you say, he defended very hard. Oh, bit of a moment for Murray Adams, catches it all up. Well done, Murray. But that's, yeah, again, the weight transfer that you get. We were on board with Henry Mackenzie Friedman earlier on, and I did note how the revs suddenly jump just as the weight comes off of the car going down the corkscrew there. That was a very good save from Murray to keep it there in the top 6. Here's your fight for P7. Antonio Gitsonio holding off James Juba at the moment. Juba down the inside, trying to take that position. Trying to, well, he's already got 2nd place in the Clubman ranks. That's nicely done by Juba, but back comes Gitsonio. Matt Salmon just behind there in P9. Good run for Gitsonio, coming over the rise down towards the Andretti hairpin once again here on lap number 8. Good room given by both drivers. Juba now on the outside, but where the grip isn't as good, is going to run out wide, but it takes good speed off the corner. Very good racing indeed. Down the inside once again goes James Juba, and that should be him now into 7th place.
Loved it. Even though Gitsonio came off of that one position down, I really liked what he did at the final corner to just go, yeah, you can go down the inside, but I'm going to get a better exit, and I'm going to have a proper go back at you into the Andretti hairpin. As it was, though, it didn't pay dividends for him, unfortunately, but good racecraft nonetheless. Matt Salmon having a bit of a look at him there into turn 5. But not for the first time this evening. We've seen a driver be able to keep their foot in it on the outside, exit well, and Gitsonio in 8th place, remains in 8th place on their way up the hill, albeit been dropped a little bit now by James Juba. But still leading rookies either way is Gitsonio, and does so fairly comfortably because it's some 14 seconds further back that we find his nearest rival within that class in the form of Simon Delamere.
Do indeed. This is I think we're going to be seeing Antonio Gitsonio take the lead in the points in rookie at the end of the night, and I think you'd have had fairly long odds on that one. It was around 25 points back before we got things going here. This is a bit close, a bit too close, and around goes Murray Adams. Contact there with George Palozzi, was trying to make it down the inside. Adams will take the view possibly that he wasn't left enough room there. Palozzi will think, well, you weren't too long side there, Murray, going into turn 1. I don't have to give you room. The result was Adams round loses 5 seconds.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I don't want that to take away from what I think has generally been a really good evening of battling between Palozzi and Adams. Well, not the first time they've had contact, of course. As we head towards the scene of their first ruckus of the evening's racing up at Corkscrew. But yeah, that incident somewhat separates the field. This is the first time this evening where the smallest gap out there is 0.3 of a second. So it's practically calm by the standards of the BUKC iRacing trophy, but it's unlikely to remain that way.
Absolutely. So George Palozzi takes 4th place there from Ross Deal into the second half of the race now. 11 minutes to go. Good evening to Alex Mitchell, quite a motorsport driver. He's having another really good season in the BUKC in real life. Good to see you tuned in, mate. Hopefully we'll see you back in some of these sim races later on in the year, of course. Some really good results last year, and the year before that did Alex. There's James de Havilland, third place at the moment. Lost touch slightly with Sam Sanders, but I think James will be quite happy with the results here tonight so far this season. The pace has definitely been there. 5th and 4th in the first 2 races at Alton Park, then had an incident in race 3, was classified 24th. And last time out at Okayama, it was pretty much the opposite way round. It was the first race where James had problems, 17th, and then a couple of 4th places. So far tonight, a clean run, strengthening his position. Started the evening 6th in the points, could be up to 4th tonight, maybe even 3rd. As there is a move, that is Andrew Dawson going past Simon Delamere for 12th place.
Yeah, it is Dawson on once again on a bit of a recovery drive, but still pushing hard, as you can see there on his exit of turn 6. But yeah, challenging evening's racing for him, perhaps. Might be a case of what might have been somewhat.
Big pace alert. Sam Sanders has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 30.6. So is there going to be an opportunity for Sam Sanders to take the race lead here? On board now with Matt Salmon.
In pursuit then of Jitsonio. Oh, little twitch there on the steering for Matt Salmon there into turn 3. Through 4, and heading towards the left-hander of 5. Jitsonio with a good line through there, just pulled out the gap a little bit more, but it's a good run through 5 as we begin our ascent up the hill here for Matt Salmon. The tricky turn 6, where it's so easy to overpush, but he does that one beautifully actually. It's been a strong run up the hill here for Matt Salmon on Jitsonio as we head towards the famous corkscrew corner. You can see the crest that we take there, and then the heavy braking into the corkscrew, and that has been a strong mid-sector of the lap there for Matt Salmon to keep himself in contention with the 311 of Antonio Jitsonio. Is this lap going to culminate in a dive down the inside of 11? Probably not. Just tagged the inside curb there and slightly compromised ourselves through the last little section there, but a good strong lap on board with Matt Salmon there in his pursuit of 8th place Jitsonio. Further down the order, got a battle here. Matt Shawnee pushing hard in his pursuit of a recovering David Whitehouse. Whitehouse obviously with that incident on lap 1, I want to say. Certainly in the early phases it was disappointment for David Whitehouse, but good to see him still circulating and pushing hard to try and salvage something from this race. He's recently got by on Shawnee and now looking to move on up the road. Matt Shawnee's keeping him honest here. There's going to be a move on into corkscrew. Bit of a defensive line from David Whitehouse, quite close on the rear. And once again, Whitehouse is going a bit defensive perhaps through the latter section of the lap. Matt Shawnee pushing hard here as he's got the race leader going by him. That's it. It's Henry Friedman going by. And well, this is an aspect as well, of course, of how well can Friedman navigate through this traffic versus Sam Sanders. David Whitehouse gets out of the way on the inside there. Both of them get by just by the apex there. Good heads-up driving there from David Whitehouse. Further back, Ross Deal versus George Palozzi. I have to say Palozzi's done a fantastic job of keeping Ross Deal at bay for a little while here. So brilliant drive tonight from the 166 of Palozzi. As I said, has kept it clean so far. Well, sorry, I say keep it clean. Murray Adams might not entirely agree with that one, if I'm, because there was that moment between the two of them. As Ross Deal's going to fire a move down the inside of turn number 5, but not for the first time. We're going to see a driver say, no, I'm going to hold my line here on the outside of 5 and take well, not even take that position back, but retain that position. Thank you very much. Rossdale will have to find another way through. 2 wheels off of the dust there, though, for Palozzi, having to push hard here under this pressure.
Yeah, really good stuff there from George Palozzi, holding off Rossdale. Again, 2 drivers very experienced over the years in the BUKC. George Palozzi with Southampton University back in the day. Through towards the final corner they go. It'll be nearly 20 minutes completed after this one, and the traffic as well is going to come into play for these 2.
Yes. It certainly will, as we saw just a little bit for the leaders as well, as Palozzi will have to go defensive once again on Rossdale here, but Rossdale's going to be able to take a nice swooping line. Is that going to pay off for him? It's hard to hold that advantage through the second apex as well. Little bounce over the inside curve there for Palozzi. Rossdale will have another go of it into turn number 3, side by side. And good racing room given by both. It's still side by side though through turn number 4, and round the outside is going to go Palozzi, and he should be able to, well, I say hold an advantage through 5, but we've seen several drivers benefit from being on the outside of 5 so far this evening, as there is traffic. That's traffic coming into play, definitely, for the 2 of them there. I think that was Matthew Shawnee.
I think that was a spin for Shawnee as well on
yeah.
corner entry, because there was some tyre squeal.
Up towards the corkscrew. Can Rossdale find a gap? No, just able to close the door is Palozzi, but it's very different lines off of the corkscrew. Does that mean someone has better drive? I've got to say, we've got to start keeping an eye once again on the lead battle here. Sam Sanders is doing a fantastic job of closing in Henry Friedman. So we thought maybe this one had calmed down a little bit, but it's coming up to a nice boil towards the end here.
We step away from the Southampton versus Reading sim version of the BUKC fight in 2024. Plenty of that being seen in the in real life main championship as well. And as you say, Howard back at the front of the order. Friedman and Sanders go side by side. This time Rossdale's down the inside of George Palozzi. Palozzi, if he can keep a wheel in there, will have the advantage for turn number 3. But it's in the gravel, in the sand, and in the end has to give that one up. Rossdale made to work very, very hard there by George Palozzi, but at long last the Reading University driver has P4.
Yeah, really good battle there. Palozzi, I think, on the whole, I know he's been involved in a few bits of contact, but on the whole, his racecraft has been pretty good this evening, I think, and he certainly gave Rossdale a run for his money there. On board with second place, Sam Sanders, who has reeled this gap in beautifully on Henry Friedman. And with maybe a couple of laps to go, we are on for a lead battle here right until the end.
Sam Sanders, this could be the difference between him leading the championship at the end of tonight and not. Good defence from Henry Mackenzie Friedman there, but it's going to be weak off the corner. He's going to have to sit to the inside if Sam Sanders wants the lead. It's going to be the outside line or possibly the switchback as they go towards turn 1. Good speed carried there by Sam Sanders. They're going to be, well, down the pit straight side by side once again. Sam Sanders running in the dirt there. There is going to be 2 more laps of this one. Can Friedman hold on to this lead for yet another victory? Sanders has already got his first tonight as well of the season, but it's good defence once again. Somehow Henry Mackenzie Friedman holding off Sam Sanders here, doing a brilliant job. Here's the next opportunity. Positioning of the car, very good from Henry Mackenzie Friedman so far. You can see Sam Sanders is trying to get that switchback, but Friedman is fast to it. It's just not giving him that room.
Super close as they head down towards turn number 5. Little kick out from the back there of the Formula Ford car on Sam Sanders as he's on that outside line and thus has to rotate the car a little bit more aggressively into the corner, but deals with it perfectly well up the hill. Can he get his nose in front ahead of the corkscrew to set himself up for a move on the inside? He's got his nose in there, he's side by side, and so long as he can get it stopped on time, that is going to be a gorgeous move from Sam Sanders in the number 3 to get himself back into the lead of the race. But Henry Friedman almost immediately with a counter-attack, but can't quite find a way through turn number 9.
Really good response from Sam Sanders, just held his outside line there, carried the speed, Had to work hard for it, but has found a way through. There's going to be one more lap to go then for these two. James de Havilland's going to hope that this fight continues on, because he's closed in by about 1.5 seconds, I think, on this last lap. 131.9 for Sanders, 132.1 for Friedman, 131.2 for de Havilland. Down into the Andretti hairpin they go for the final time tonight. Good stuff once again from Sam Sanders, just holding that inside line once more, not allowing Friedman to get that run. It's roles reversed now. This is what we saw from the 55 one lap ago. But it's going to be the corkscrew again, I feel here, Howard. That's going to be the key place where this race will be decided.
Yeah, absolutely. Friedman needs a good run through turn number 5. He's 4 Sanders offline. He is going to try and go around the outside of 5. He doesn't want to wait to the corkscrew if he can help it. But Sanders holding the inside line here. How bold is Friedman feeling round 6? He's going to go for it round the outside. They're still side by side as they head up towards the hill. It'll pinch slightly. They almost touch as they're heading towards the braking zone for the corkscrew. Sanders on driver's left as they're braking for the corkscrew. Friedman's going to try and go round the outside of the corkscrew, and he's got the job done.
Oh, what a brilliant move from Henry Mackenzie Friedman. Has it been the key one to win this race? There was a spinner towards the back. I think Olavo Castro has had a problem out there. But this is it. One more corner to go. That's going to be the run to the line as well. Henry Mackenzie Friedman jerks to the inside. Holds the line once again. Has he got his racecraft absolutely spot on? Yes, he has. Henry Mackenzie Friedman wins a brilliant race 3 from Sam Sanders. They take it after 18 laps with 3rd place to James de Havilland. A brilliant way to finish things here tonight at Laguna Seca. 4th goes to Ross Steele, 5th to George Palozzi, and Murray Adams home in 6th.
Oh, wow, my goodness me. Do you win the race? Yeah. Okay, where'd you take the lead? Oh, around the outside of the corkscrew. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous.
Over the line there, Antonio Gitsonio, P8. Another strong result in the rookies. Matt Salmon and James Fremont get top 10s. Andrew Dawson home in P11. A few more drivers coming over the line as well. Sam Dimolo 12th, Cameron Biggs will be 13th. Eric Mignon there, a lap down. 14th will be Simon Delamere. Then off the lead lap, David Whitehouse, Logan McAllister, Matthew Shawnee, and as I say, Eric Mignon. 2 retirements from that race, Olavo Castro and Matthew Graham. Wow, what a race. What another fantastic event on here in the BUKC iRacing Trophy. 3 races. If you've missed any of the action, don't worry, it's all going to be free to watch back here on the DTMM YouTube channel. And still more to come, of course, in the across the course of the spring here in 2024. 2 more rounds to go. The next one will be 2 weeks time. Not the weekend, but Skirgen will be the 4th venue for this year. A circuit that we've not held an event at before.
We've not, no. I've not revised any corner names either, so we could be in for an interesting one. But no, that's going to be good fun as well for round number 4.
That's all we've got time for here tonight from Laguna Seca. Thank you for joining us. If you've enjoyed the stream, do make sure you click that like button, give it a share, and smash the subscribe as well. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, as we say, for round 4. Oh, I nearly forgot. We need to do the grand reveal, don't we? We always do this for these events. If you have watched tonight and you want to take part, there are opportunities to do so. As I say, we've got 2 rounds to go. The next one in 2 weeks' time, and we'll have it for the next time before I find the bottom of how the rules that we have will be the entrance for the next round. We'll have to pop a bit more time. I'm not quite on it right. Final thoughts, Howard, for yourself before we check out. What's that final?
It's just been a huge amount of fun. You know, it's a great car. It's a great track, and the usual challenge of Laguna Seca. You know that, as we've said several times, there's not a lot of runoff here. It's not grass you've got to worry about. It's dust, And you know, to see the standard of racing that we have tonight from these drivers, you know, we talk about this is a development championship, remember, but the standard of driving around this challenging circuit that we've seen from these drivers tonight, I think, has been highly impressive. And I know, so, you know, if you're playing the Double Dash Motorsport Media commentary Club 100 BUKC iRacing drinking game, you can now have one for Howard comments on the high standard of driving that's surprised him for some reason. But I do think on a circuit like this, it has been a really good standard of driving tonight. Yes, a few incidents and accidents out there.
That's racing.
But that is racing, and you know, that's been fantastic fun tonight.
I found the button. Entries for round 4 via SimGrid. Link to the SimGrid host page is in the description below. Entries are now open. It's www.thesimgrid.com. And then if you go /host/Club 100 Racing, or do a search on their website, we can get you on board. Give the host page a follow. Then you can enter the last 2 rounds of the year. And we'll probably knock the entry price down for the last 2 rounds of the year as well. So there's still a few spaces remaining for you there if you do want to get on the grid before we wrap the season up. Thank you very much, everybody. Great racing here tonight yet again at Laguna Seca. I do hope you've enjoyed it if you've watched it live or you're watching back after the recording. And as I say, 2 weeks' time, Rutskogen, we'll see you there. Have a good evening. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.